Hi, Fashion Dolls. Happy Thankful Thursday, October 23rd. We have 7 more days left until my birthday, my 32nd birthday. And I'm super excited. We have a very special guest coming on to celebrate with me and kick in my 32nd birthday next week. Make sure you guys tune in. We are also well off on the road to 1K interviews. Congratulations to my brother K Tukes, host of the K Tukes Spot. Make sure you guys please go and check him out. And he hit his 1K last weekend, so make sure y'all go and y'all check him out and subscribe to him. Shout outs to my brother. So, I apologize for my tardiness. As you can see, a woman has to show up fashionably late. So, without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Tywayne Wheat. Let me see if I might have to do it this way. So what I'm gonna do, I pray it works. There we are.
Hey,
Ah,
what's going on?
hello. Please forgive my tardiness. As I said, it takes a woman some time to get ready.
I feel you.
Yes. So, get into today's conversation. How has 2025 been for you thus far?
Uh, it's been good. Some ups and downs, but the industry is a little fickle, but it's good. Other than that, yeah, it's good.
Yes. So let's get into the beginning of your journey. Tell us a little bit about your story, where you grew up, where you're originally from, and how many siblings.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. We
That
pronounce it Newark.
accent. And you said New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we know who comes from New Jersey, and she's from the Brick. She's one of my favorite singers, Whitney Houston. So we can't talk about New Jersey without talking about Newark, where Whitney is from. So go
Oh
ahead.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's a lot of great people that from Jersey, especially from Newark, like Faith Evans. Faith Evans is from
Yes.
from Jersey. Shaq, so it's a lot of people from Jersey. But yeah, I was born and raised there, near EO, right near EO in Newark. Um, I have about I have three brothers, three sisters, and one brother. Yeah, yeah. So, I as far as I've been, how long I left Jersey around about 1996. I went to college to UConn, University of Connecticut, for the theater around about 96, and stayed there to do the 2001, and then went to grad school at UNLV. So that's kind of a bit of truncated version of my journey. But yeah, I was in Vegas for a while, and then I moved to Atlanta.
And Atlanta is the black mecca. If you're ever looking to get your career jumped off, Atlanta is the place to do it. So, what was it like making that transition from New Jersey to Atlanta? And I know it's scary stepping out on faith. And then your parents, about us being in the entertainment business, they have their reservations. They're just like, they can either support you or they can say, no, you're going to go to school. You're going to go do this. You're going to do the opposite. So, how
Right.
was it for you?
Well, when it's funny you say that, because when I first told people I wanted to be an actor, like being in Newark, I used to do little things for my family, videos and everything like that. But I used to I used to do I used to do these little reenactments of like Color Purple and like Bad Boys when I was young and in school. And my teacher, who was from Trinidad, she said to me, she said, Tywayne, have you ever thought about being an actor? And I was like, I didn't think about it. I was like, yeah. I said, I would love that. I used to go to movies all the time in New York with my dad. And when I used to tell people, they used to laugh at me. I said, I want to go to school. I'm going to learn how to act in school and college, and then I'm going to go and be a professional actor. And people would laugh at me. And it was it was a it was a leap of faith going from Newark to Connecticut, and then to Vegas. And I ended up, I was with this group, a studio. At first, it was called House of Tribes, and then we went to AOA, which is Alchemy of Acting, and I met some of my lifelong friends there, and it was some of the most talented people I've ever worked with, you know, and we all caravanned from Vegas to Atlanta back in 2011 because we heard, you know, about the whole Tyler Perry explosion and everything like that. So we thought it was a good
Yeah.
launching pad, you know what I mean? And so we had we had who did we have first? We went to a it was a studio or like an acting class with Terry J. Vaughn here in Atlanta, and it was called the Green Room, and met people there. And we did Tommy Ford's class, and then we eventually settled with AOA, and we just studied, man, and just audition, looked for. We did everything. We went for independent film, commercials, whatever we could do. I did an opera once because I just wanted to be out. You know what I mean? But I can't sing, but you know, I act like I can sing. I was one of the supernumerals or whatever, and but it was an experience. We did everything. We hit the ground running. You know what I mean? So, and it's a lot of people that was in our studio once we came to Atlanta, and like it's people that you probably heard of today that's out there doing things. You know what I mean? So, very talented people. You know what I mean? But it was a leap of faith. We were scared. You know, I left a job at the water district, and that's a great job in Las Vegas for to come here. You know what I mean? So, and I was just about to have my son, so it was definitely, I just believed in myself that much that I was like, you know, I'm doing good work. Is I really feel I can be an actor, I can be a father, I can do all these things and be the
Yeah.
artist I want to be without a lot of sacrifice. You can do it. You just gotta find a way. You know.
And that's what it is all about. And I touched on this yesterday with my beautiful guest, and you came in that interview with Kiara Rashawn. We were talking about being able to have balance, and she said the same thing that you said, that she's a mother of five.
Mm,
And we talked about balance, both of us being women and having to find balance. And it's not just about being women, but anybody being a parent in this business. It is
right.
about making sure that you have to make sacrifices for your family, and not just for yourself, but in your career as well too. So earlier, here's a little bit of the backstory. Yes, I'm putting it on Front Street with Tom Wayne. I called him and he was at work. And I was like, okay, I'm out. So, oh Lord, okay, it's gonna take, it's gonna take a woman a little bit longer to get ready. That he can just throw on a t-shirt and a pair of pants. Me, I have to make sure that everything is color coordinated. I haven't even posted the outfit of the day because I know you guys are wanting to know what is she wearing. You'll see at the end of the show. But it's all about balance. And then before you messaged me back, I was helping my mom get her paperwork sorted out. So I had to be secretary. I had all of her stuff organized. So that's what we're saying about balance. And I say that as a catalyst for this conversation here, because if anybody wants to be in the entertainment business, you have to be able to balance it out. Being a parent and then also being an actor, being on set. And that leads me to my next question, which we're going to segue into. 2020, it was difficult for a lot of actors, and me and Kiara also talked about that yesterday. How did you manage with 2020? Because you did Shaft, the
Mm,
the 2019 version, and then boom, we go into a pandemic, 2020. Everything was shut down. How did you manage being on set away from family? Because I know it was difficult for a lot of actors
mhm,
with having to be away from their families and then
mhm.
be on set because of the guidelines and everything. How did you work it out?
Well, I was fortunate enough that I booked some gigs because a lot of people, they weren't, unless you were vaccinated,
No.
they weren't letting you even nowhere near the set. I just, I put my work, I put a lot of effort into my auditions, studying technique or whatever, as far as just working on your art in between time. You know what I'm saying? So when I around that time, it was very like it was scary. You know what I'm saying? Because I was actually a big person. You know, I had lost some weight, but COVID was saying was taking out a lot of people, especially that were overweight, or had some health problems, and I was pre-diabetic and all that, and so I had to kind of make sure that I did the right things when I wasn't working, making sure that I was eating healthy. I didn't go anywhere, too much to get. If I had a gig, I would kind of just stay at home. You know what I mean? Um, it's one time. It's funny. Is one time I had booked a gig with Kevin Hart. It was called Die Hard, and I had booked the gig, and I was going, to be in the scene with him, and I end up catching COVID, and I also had a callback to work on what's that? It's a movie with Francis Ford Coppola, and I I couldn't do it, and I had to tell. I told them because I didn't want anybody. Some people would just go in and risk people getting sick, but I told them, I said I can't. I have COVID. I know it's an opportunity, but I can't do that to anybody else. You know what I mean? So I had to balance as far as I put it into my work. Whenever I would audition, if I did a gig, I made sure I just stayed at home and just took care of myself. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it was hard because a lot of things I was I didn't it was there wasn't a premiere for that because of the pandemic, so a lot of stuff got halted, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And
But I was pushing
especially
up.
in the New York area,
Hmm.
too. For a lot of actors, if they were on Broadway, if they were doing theater, a lot of things got postponed and pushed back. And
Hmm.
speaking of heading from 20, we're going to go back to 2019. You worked on Shaft alongside the late Richard Roundtree. Jesse, you've worked alongside Samuel Jackson. It was an all ensemble cast, and the
Hmm.
film grossed in box office a whopping total of $21.4 million
Hmm.
worldwide. Did you have any idea
Hmm.
working on such a cult classic film? Because I remember the original Shaft. We can go
Oh
all the way
yeah.
back to the Black exploitation era with Richard Roundtree as the original Shaft, and then we
Hmm.
see the one with who I've had the pleasure of sitting down with, Vanessa Williams, Busta Rhymes, the
Hmm.
second one, and then we see the remake for 2019, and you were a part of that. What
Hmm.
was it like being a part or getting the call back to be a part of such a classic ensemble film?
Well, it was honestly, I was honored to be amongst such company. It actually was my first like major movie role that I was in. I've done independent stuff, but it's my first major one. I was doing background for a Atlanta Braves commercial, and my agent Jason Lockhart called me up and said, "Hey, buddy, you want to do it? You want to do a movie with Samuel Jackson?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, of course." And I was really excited. I was really grateful because I had auditioned for a lot of stuff before I kind of got into the swing of things. I mean, everything you can audition for, ABC, NBC. I think I even auditioned for a Food Network channel, but it was an honor, man. I was at first I was a bit intimidated, just the first time in a major film with, stars with, and I remember Shaft, both the original and with Samuel Jackson, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I used to love Chef. I watched Chef when I was in college for the first time, so it was an honor being around them, man, and just soaking in all that knowledge. And I had a chance to talk to Samuel Jackson. He asked me, um, he said, "Are you now? What are you doing this for?" He said, "Are you doing this for it, like the fame and the glitz, or are you, really acting?" I said, "I'm really acting." And he said, "Theater." He said, "Theater is a good way to keep you in the art." You know what I'm saying? So that's something that he told me. He was like, "Keep doing theater. Theater is where it's at." So and Richard Roundtree, he was just such a. He asked me about my son, or whatever. And my son was young, but he was definitely a nice guy, and Jesse T. Usher, he was definitely. He was a pleasure to work with. Everybody was real cool. Even Samuel Jackson. I can't curse on here, can I? I can't curse. Can I curse?
You cannot. I'm pretty sure you've seen some of my most
Oh,
recent
okay.
ones. I've let a few, and I'm gonna let a few tonight out. Make sure y'all tune in on my colleague platform, Alvin Tit for Tat, this and that, 8 p.m. But go on.
But no, he there was one part where I was sitting and I was eating like chips in between takes, and Samuel Jackson comes up to me and says, "What you eating, motherfucker?" And I was like, I felt honored because he called me a motherfucker. I don't know why, but, but yeah, I
It's
mean,
a whole
yeah,
meme of him doing it, like
yeah,
just to be in the presence of greatness
yeah.
all alone.
Yeah, and he knows his no, he knows his business. He knows his shots. He knows what he's doing. He don't mess around. Like you got to be on your A game. So that's why I say if I hadn't had my training or whatever, and got all starstruck, I would have it would have got me unfocused. But once you like a true actor, they lock in and they know they got a job to do and put on with a celebrity or whatever behind you and just play the role and the circumstances. But yeah.
Hey, Miss Stevie, I need some. Wait a minute. Hi, Miss Stevie. What's the topic? We are here with Ty Wayne. We are talking Shaft 2019 with Samuel Jackson and the late Richard Roundtree, and just his legacy and overall. I need some positivity. Government worker on shutdown. Ooh,
Mm,
oh, Shay,
that's
baby.
wow.
Love to hear it. Usual. Thank you. Thank you. Very special thanks to Melanie Malamai Bridges on the glam. She always gets me right. But tonight, that I will be I see my colleague Alvin Tit for Tat, this and that. Y'all give him a follow. I will be on his panel tonight at 8 p.m. and I will be giving my thoughts and a few choice words at what's going on. Ty Wayne just asked me if we can curse. So my choice words, I'm gonna save it for tonight, 8 p.m. Y'all make
Yeah.
sure y'all tune in. But Shaft, and then you just go from hit show to hit show to hit show. Beyond the Gates, uh, which is out right now. Make sure you guys go to CBS and check it out.
Yeah.
You've got Outer Banks, you've got Fight Night, P Valley, BMF, and you worked alongside one of my favorite actresses, Academy Award winning actress,
Hmm.
uh-huh, Monique the Queen herself. What
That's
was
right.
it like working alongside Monique?
Monique was actually one of the nicest people as far as that I've worked with, on set. I don't want to shade anybody or diminish anybody else. Everybody else were pretty cool. Um, but she was, because it came with that stigma that she had, you hear stuff in the media, but when I tell you, she was an absolute pleasure. She was nice, said hi to everybody, and did work. And it was a point where she tells me we're doing the scene, and she's like, "Let me," because a lot of people don't. Some actors don't like people to do not really line readings. They'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, let me do my process." Um, but you got to be open for critique. You know what I mean? So she was like, "Let me." This is just a suggestion. You might. She asked me, could she give me a suggestion? I said, listen, a suggestion from an Academy Award winner, sure, why not? What I'm gonna say, no. But she gave me a suggestion, and it worked. And she was so happy for me. She rooted for me when I had did one episode, and it was just gonna be that. But then they put me back on for another episode, and she was so happy for me. So she was wonderful as far as giving you being a giving actor. So and just watching her work, she was great. I have no complaints. That's why I say all the stuff that people may say out in I'm telling you firsthand, she was awesome. So I don't know what that was about.
And
But
she's
yeah,
a queen. She's a queen
yes.
in her own right. She has stood the test of time. And
Mm,
the same thing that you're saying, other people have been saying about her as well, too. She's a pleasure to work with. Nothing
mm,
difficult. She just,
yeah.
demands what she demands. And I've been vocal about that. We'll
Mm,
get into that another day. But overall, just her experience,
hmm.
her again, that punctuality, that professionalism, that advice. Another actress does the same thing that she does, and we touched on her yesterday, and it was Lynn Whitfield. So I noticed you were on Greenleaf, and Lynn
Yeah.
Whitfield was also on Greenleaf. So
Mm,
the same thing they say about Monique is the same thing they say about Lynn, and that's that spirit. Like, no, no, do it a little bit different. Do it this way, where it's like that auntie or mother-like spirit, where they encourage you to do it and give it
mm,
your all. So
yeah.
I personally don't know, but my friend Sky Valentine has the pleasure of working alongside and with Monique. So shout outs to my brother Scott for that.
Yeah. 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 It was.
She
Yeah.
popped up in one of my interviews and I just started fangirling out.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah. She's
Oh
awesome.
my goodness. But as we go down the list here, you were also on P Valley as well too, and a lot of people are wanting the show to come back. So,
Oh,
what are your thoughts? Where do you predict your character would be?
well, I had I was on season 2, and I played the mayor's son. When the mayor dies, it was a funeral scene or whatever, and they thought about bringing us back, but I don't know if that's a possibility right now. But I'm always hopeful. But it was I got to. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because I got to do it with a lot of Atlanta actors. P Valley employs a lot of great Atlanta actors like Tyshawn. He's in BMF. He plays hoop on BMF. I met him there. And the spectacularly talented Angela Davis. She played the mayor's assistant. I forget her name on the show, but she's great. She's a acting coach, actor studios here in Atlanta, and she's like aces. She was an acting coach on Fight Night, so just wanted to shout her out and everything like that. But it was really cool. I can't wait. I'm a fan of it myself. I got to meet Uncle Clifford, and when I tell you she runs the set. You know what I'm saying? So it was an honor. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing how they work, and they are very uh, uh Katori Hall. She's there. She watches everything. So she's very nice. She's very good as far as
And you
the show.
said fight night. Well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a minute. I'm sorry, you were saying?
But no, I was just saying that I'm a fan of P Valley, so I'm looking forward to seeing, the new episode. I know something that good. It's going to take some time to make sure that it's coming with that thunder. You know what I mean? So it's some great people on there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I
And
can't
fight
wait.
night again.
Yeah.
And yes, I pray that they bring your character back. So who knows what Katori Hall is cooking up? Who knows? Because we can't just leave like that. Like the fans are waiting for more Pete Valley. If not Pete Valley, then BMF. And of
Uh-huh.
course, shows like BMF, The Shy, where's that mob aspect. And I think
Hmm.
that's what draws people in, like the cliffhangers. Like
Hmm.
P Valley had a lot of cliffhangers at the end of the season. So a lot of people are waiting on it. Yes,
Hmm.
P Valley. So who knows? And Lil Murda goes live here. So you guys can see him if you follow him. Make sure you go and follow him. So who knows? I'm looking in the live. I'm in live sometimes, and the fans will say, "When is P Valley coming back? When is P Valley coming back?" So a lot of people are fans of the show. So Katori Hall, girl, if you ever see it, bring it back because the fans, we want more.
Yeah. Actually, no. I know that they finished filming, but I know it's coming. It's coming. You know, I know. I heard it's
Well,
gonna be fire. So yeah.
and another show that you were a part of, you've worked again alongside Samuel Jackson, and that was Fight Night. It was an all ensemble cast. You
Hmm.
had Terrence Howard and
Hmm.
Taraji P. Henson. They're coming in. This is way after Empire ended now.
Hmm.
And shout outs to Lee Daniels as well
Hmm.
for giving us such an incredible show.
Hmm.
But we see them working together again. We see Don Cheadle. You have Kevin Hart. You have Samuel Jackson. It's an all ensemble cast. What was it like working with Samuel again?
Well, I wasn't in it quite as I wasn't as many scenes as I was in Shaft, but it was. it was a kind of surreal moment because one, when we did the table read, the first table read, just watching everybody pop up, you know what I'm saying? Will Packer and then Kevin Hart and Taraji, and then we're all doing a Zoom call, you know what I'm saying? The Don Cheadle, Terrence Howard. It was a surreal moment. You know what I
That's
mean?
a room full of greatness.
Right. And just watching and hearing them and seeing how they interact with one another, such familiarity with one another. You know what I mean? Like they were family. And it was great. I mean, I was mostly my scenes was with Don Cheadle, and I love Don Cheadle from like Colors to Devil in a Blue Dress. Like I just love his work. So I think that's probably one of the few times I really was starstruck. But he was giving, he was serious about it. Everybody was serious about this stuff. Kevin Hart he was funny, but also about business. Terrence Howard, and I would see them. I did like a month or so, and also giving a shout out to uh, I played Bundini Brown Ali, Muhammad Ali's kind of spirit guy or whatever. Jamie Foxx played him in Ali, and Dexter Darden. You know what I mean? He was that's my guy right there. He's great in it as Ali, and it was great. Just I was watching Don Cheadle and Terrence Howard having a conversation. I said two Iron Man, two War Machines are having a conversation right now. But I was just soaking in actually how just just camera angles and their techniques or whatever, just how they worked. You know, Don Cheadle was he's very focused. You know what I'm saying? He's very focused, very like he knows his angle. He knows you got to know your framing. You know what I mean? To know your playing area, your playing space. Um, even like Terrence Howard was very detailed as far as his look, the details of his character, Cadillac, his hair. Shout out to Mona. His whether they smoked or not, how much. It was great. And then you had young actors like Miles and I forgot his name. Excuse me, forgive me, I forgot his name, but he played Sean on Power. But he was great. So I was just soaking in all that knowledge from those people. I didn't get to see Taraji because we were in different scenes, but watching Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle work together and how they would joke but still be in the scene, and it was great. And even like the fight scenes with Ali and just seeing how hard Dexter was working and how much he prepped. I mean, he prepped. I came in towards the tail end because I wasn't a boxer, but he prepped, man, and was just dialed in as Ali, and Kev and Don Cheadle was dialed in as Detective Hudson. So it was really cool, man. It was really cool just to watch their process. So yeah.
And to be able to sit in just a room, you said when they popped up on the Zoom call, to be able to sit in a room full of greatness and just
Mm,
take notes and study. And I
mm,
touched on this yesterday with Kiara and in some of my past interviews with a lot of actors.
mm,
Uh, Sit there and study the arts. For a lot of actors out there that are looking to get into the business, it's always great to sit back, observe, and take notes from the greats. And like you said with Monique, she will critique you. She'll say, do it a little bit different, do it this way. And the
mhm,
producer will be like, I agree. You
mhm,
know, bring your all to everything. What advice would you give to actors with yourself being a vet in this business? Because you've done a lot of commercials, you've been
mhm,
on hit shows, P Valley, BMF, Greenleaf, Dow. We can go down the list, and also Beyond the Gate. Well, to make sure you guys go and check it out on
mhm.
CBS as well. Black
Yeah,
Soul. We I
yeah,
mean,
shout out to
go
Ernestine.
ahead.
Ernestine, she plays I forgot her name. I'm so bad with names. I'm getting older. But Shanice, she plays Shanice on Beyond the Gates. She plays the nurse. So shout out to her. But you were saying what advice would I give as far as um I would say
As far as
just
bringing your own and personality to a role and making the character believable.
right. You understand. Somebody told me once, there's only one you. There's many people we can all say a script or a monologue or some text, but everybody's unique. And you got to understand, it could be a million actors out there that's going for the same role, but there's only one you. And what's for you is for you. And what's not,
Yes,
it's not. Don't worry about it. When you audition and forget it. You know what I mean? If you get it, you'll know, especially if your agent calls you. But just forget it and work on the work and not so much the results. You know what I mean? Work on just creating characters about your circumstances. Whatever your technique is, just work on that and let the art be the goal, and everything else will fall into place. There's only one you, and they haven't found you yet. So just know it just certain times the world just don't know about you yet, and it's just a matter of timing. So I'd say just be you, because sometimes I'll be like, I gotta be this way. I want to. No, they picked you if they're auditioning you or whatever, or they've seen you. They picked you for a reason. They're seeing you for a reason, and don't belittle that. Don't make that small. You're an important person. You're a unique person. So, and don't get intimidated by the room. A lot of times I suffer with imposter syndrome, where I felt like, oh well, I shouldn't be here. I'm so lucky. You know what I mean?
right.
And but no, you gotta. My friend BJ, uh, we worked on a movie together. He was like, imposter syndrome is strong, dog. He said you gotta know that you've earned this. Things that I've done, I've worked hard for, I've earned it. So you gotta live in that. You gotta live in your power. You know what I mean? You gotta live in your power. You can't let the room shrink you. Just like I said when I was on there with Monique and Taraji and Will Packer and all of them. Yeah, that's cool, but I know that I'm a professional actor about mine, and I take my stuff seriously. So I'm gonna give them all that I got, and it's either gonna be they're gonna love it or they're not gonna like it. I mean, but you don't concern yourself with that. You just do the best you can do and move forward. Just keep moving forward if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? Because your passion will sustain you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you've also attended the University of Nevada with the Master in Fine Arts. And it's important that actors have something to fall back on. How
Mm-hmm.
important is it that actors, because there's so many courses and classes and
Mm-hmm.
workshops out here for actors that want to get into the fine arts. What are some books and tips that you would recommend for actors that want to get into the business?
Um, I would say, see, you got to figure out what technique works for you. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Some people go with Jersey Krotowski. I learned in grad school at UNLV. I learned that there's different techniques. There's more than one way up a mountain. You know what I mean? You can go to Stanislavski. You can go to Meisner. I kind of like. You can go to Stella Adler. You can go to the Alexander technique. Viewpoints. It's different things you can do. It's whatever works for you. I have kind of a hybrid. I take what I can from each of them. Sometimes with Meister, sometimes with Stanislavski or Strasberg or something like that. It's whatever works for you. I would say I would I would definitely say do Meisner. Any book with Sanford Meisner or Lee Strasberg or Stella Adler. I would even say some David Mamet books. You know, I think it's one called Backwards and Forwards. But you just go to any. You can look online and it's order books. Read books. Read August Wilson plays, especially as an African American
oh,
artist.
the piano lesson? Yes,
Yeah,
for
piano
sure.
lesson. I had a monologue from the piano lesson at one point, and it's it's you just got to find what technique works for you. I kind of like David Mamet says that the best education is experience. So he doesn't somewhat. I feel you got to have a balance of go to your classes, go to classes, take classes. Because a lot of people come to me and ask, "Well, I want to be an active dog. What can I do to?" And I first say, like, "Can you act? Like, what do you like to do?" And then if they tell me like a film or television, I say, "You got to get in classes." I've gone to school. I've taken classes. Um, was in the and then like I said in my studio, I've been in the thick of it in training with them. You know what I mean? They've seen me at my worst, my most vulnerable at times. So and get a circle, a community, especially in Atlanta, LA. Get a community that has the same interests. You know what I mean? So because iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? So you want to be around people that's really about that life. And those you assemble, you'll start to resemble. You know what I mean? So, just I say, get in classes, even if you experience. I'm experiencing. I still sometimes I still get coaching. I still get one-on-one coaching. With certain people. Todd, uh, Todd. Sometimes Angela Davis. You know what I'm saying? So it's a point of it's what you want to do, how serious you want to take it, because anything that you want, you'll put time into. So, yeah, but definitely, I'd say
Absolutely.
Strasburg, at least Meisner, at the very least. And Susan Batson, I have to say Susan Batson, she's great. She coached Nicole Kidman, Susan Batson, her son Carl Ford, just just great. So,
The number of courses out here and books. Make sure you guys are taking notes and writing this down because this information can be vital. There's so many classes, so many workshops. My girlfriend Ro Underwood did Raising Canine, and she's an acting coach. So if you need tips, you can hit up Ty Wayne. You can hit up my girl Ro Underwood, and there's so many others out here that can help you. My girl, who I just had on yesterday, Kiara Rashawn,
mm,
self taping coach as well too for those of you who want to learn how to self tape. There's so many courses out here. Well, I'm not an actress. I only did one horror film. That was it, and I loved it. It was the experience. I didn't get cut up or anything, but
mm,
I was a new character in the film. And I was a college professor, and it was a little bit out of my experience. And the rest of the cast had experience. We did the table read. I was
mm.
nervous, but I nailed it,
There you
executed
go.
it in
There
just
you
one
go.
try. And
There.
what was so funny was when we got to the day of shooting the film, we shot it during the pandemic. It was how we're doing the interview now virtually.
Mm,
Uh, Other cast members were reading over each other's lines, and we were just laughing, having a good time. And that's what it should be, the camaraderie that we all share. And shout outs to my co-star Roman. We had an exchange in the film as well too. But then when we were done, I had him on the show co-hosting with me the next day, and we were just talking about pop culture and what was going on in the world. So I mean, you form bonds outside of the chemistry on film. What you see on film is completely different than what you see. So it's always good to take notes from people, and I had to take notes. I took no acting lessons. I said, let me
mm.
stick to public speaking and do what I can do best. And what's so crazy is I got the role on my birthday. He offered me that role on my
Oh,
birthday, and
that's
I said,
nice.
I'm no actor. I'm a public speaker. I love hosting this platform, but I'm
Mm,
no actress. And he said, no. Trust me. I
mm,
got a character for you. And he wrote
mm,
a character in my likeness.
mhm.
Now, Ty Wayne, y'all know how Miss Stevie feels about her hair. So I understand that being an actor in this business, you have to either gain weight or cut your hair for a role or change up your appearance a little bit to fit what the character's supposed to look like.
Right.
With me playing a college professor, and at the time I was in my 20s, I'll be 32 next week.
Okay.
So, okay. He said, here's one catch. I want you to cut your hair for this role. Ooh, okay. I said, okay, I'll think. Let me think about this now. Let me think about this. How am I gonna do this? I said, you know what? Wigs are your best friend.
Hmm.
Wigs are your best friend. Don't actually go and cut your actual real hair. So it looked as so real as if it was my own hair.
Uh-huh.
And he dressed the character, styled the character to the likeness. I said, okay, I like it. I like it. It's different. And he said the reason why is because I don't want you being young like one of the students.
Hmm.
So with me playing someone a little bit more mature, she was a mature college professor.
Hmm.
He said, we're going to age you a little bit. And the haircut kind of aged me just a little bit, just a little bit. Whereas I had at least 20 inches of hair going down my back on my birthday. And that's what gave me the role. And I'm like, you tell me now you want me to cut it? I was like, okay, I'll do it. Anything for the role, anything to make the character come alive. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I enjoyed
That's
it.
wonderful.
And I hope you guys did too. It's The Assistant to Reconnected, and you guys can check it out on YouTube. It's a great film.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
check that out.
yeah, we shot it during the pandemic. It was virtually like in a Zoom classroom setting, which was different.
Wow.
So you get to see me, you get to see the students, and then you'll see me in the exchange between me and Roman. So shout outs to Roman as well.
Man.
But yeah, that's how I know a little bit about acting, just a little bit because I sit and I study and I do a lot of reading. Even with my guests, they be shocked, like, how does she know this? How does she
Hmm.
know? Because I do research. I sit back, like I said before,
I
I
see.
came on with Taiwan and I was organizing paperwork and doing my research on him and making sure that I came on, okay, boom, 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 had the facts, had everything correct. Because if you're going to be in this business, you got to make sure, especially hosting a platform, you got to make sure that you come with the facts and make sure that you have the knowledge. And that's what it takes to be a great actor as well too, is that you study. And I've studied women who came before me who hosted talk shows like Sally Jesse Raphael,
Hmm.
Ricky Lake was one,
Hmm.
of course Oprah, Queen Latifah,
Hmm.
nonetheless. I mean,
Right.
so many. I've had to study them all and just their style and their cadence of hosting their talk shows.
Right.
And that kind of made me want to get into hosting my thing. And I said, I got to have my own style. I can't bite off of these women's style. These women
Right.
crawl so that they walk. But
Hmm.
I can do my own thing. And here
See,
we
but that's
are.
it's only one you. That's what I'm saying. That's it. You're unique. You're special. So I said, and that resonates with people. So yeah, I dig that. Yeah.
And, and another thing, don't find anybody else's personality. Find your own. As far as being an actor, I know a lot of people are like, "What do I have to do?" A lot of people, and that was a question I wanted to ask you too, Taiwan, which
Hmm.
is even for casting directors. And I remember I had Sandy Elise here, and she
Hmm.
does a lot of casting calls in the LA area.
Hmm.
And the question that she got asked the most was, Sandy, what do I do to make myself stand out at this audition? What do I do? What advice would you give to actors on standing out at an audition? Because there's so many people that could be going for either two roles, the
Hmm.
lead role that you're probably going for, or the next to the lead, or somewhere in between. But, or either you could be in the background somewhere, either or, however the director or producer wants it.
Hmm.
But the question that she got asked was, how do I stand out at this audition? How do I make it so that this producer gives me a call back? You know,
Hmm.
you might not get it the first time. So, what gems would you give to actors on standing out at an audition and landing that role?
Um, I would say take risks.
Mm,
Don't take risks just to I want to be different. Of course, know your circumstances, know your motivation, know your objectives. Come in with a clear perspective of what you want and what you want to accomplish when you come into the scene. Be going from be going somewhere and be coming from somewhere. You know what I mean? So people like they just and I think Samuel Jackson had on his I did his so his master class. It's like I want to see what that character is going to. You know, I always live and die by my buttons. If I audition, you know, it's it's an energy. You know what I mean? It may not be. I may say a word or two. I may say a sentence, or I may just give some physical gesture. You know what I'm saying? But buttons that I'm coming from somewhere and I'm going somewhere. So in that audition, it's just a moment of life that's being caught on camera. And I would say just honestly take risks. Everybody's going to do. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes the casting director just wants you to say what's written, and some things are just obvious, but you can still you can still liven it up with your own personality. You know what I'm saying? How would I come into it? I had just did an audition where the director had auditioned me for several roles, but they liked what I was doing. So each time I tried to do something a little different to sprinkle my own Taiwan stuff on it, and just not so much what they want, but have a opinion about the character and present it. You know what I mean? And if they dig it, they dig it. If they don't, but at least you tried your best and you was honest to your circumstances and to your character. So I say that. But more importantly, take risks. If you think it, do it. Don't try and judge it because as a person, when you're living life, you don't judge yourself. You don't say, I don't want to make. You just do it with the personality you have, whether you're shy, outgoing, whatever. You just be you. So just take risks. That's what I would say.
Take risk and also be original as well
Yeah.
too. To anybody, originality is key. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna give you an example. My brother K Tooks, shout outs to my brother K Tooks. He has his platform, the K Tooks Spot. Yes, a lot of people try to pit people against each other in this industry and in this business, but he has his style of interviewing, I have my style. And what makes us so unique, we're working on something together, so y'all stay tuned. But what makes it so unique is that we are our own individual person, and there's enough room at the top to shine for our personalities to shine. So when you're going in for this audition and for this role, make sure you bring your all, your personality. And if, like Monique, and I keep using her as an example because I've seen her do it on set, and she will tell you, do it a little bit more. The director and producer will do the same thing she's doing. So
Hmm.
make sure that you are bringing your all, bring your original personality, bring you, and be authentic as possible. Make that character believable because that's what the producer and the director or the maker of the film is going to want from you. You
Hmm.
bring it your all. It's either go hard or go home in this business. There is no light prisoners over here. They're not going to take any prisoners. So make sure
Hmm.
that you are bringing everything. And as Kiara said yesterday, and I keep referencing her because that was something we touched on as well too. And I've sat with a lot of actors and touched on that. And that is, if it calls for you to show emotion, if that role calls for you to cry, you have to go to that space. You have
Hmm.
to really go to that space and think. Sit in it in a moment when
Hmm.
you're reading over your script. Sit in
Hmm.
it for a moment. Think about it because having to carry the weight and the cross of that character, you're having to be a living, breathing, walking vessel for that character.
Hmm.
And you're bringing it to life. It has a name. The character has a name, but you are having to be the emotion for that character. So
Hmm.
you have to also learn to separate yourself away from the character. Ty Wayne can be Ty Wayne. Sam can be Sam. That's just an example. And then Miss Stevie can be Miss Stevie at the end of the day. So turn it on and turn it off. Or Professor Fair.
Hmm.
Professor Fair, because that was the role I played. Professor Fair is Professor Fair, and then Miss Stevie is Miss Stevie. So she had some of the similarities of
Hmm.
my personality, like
Hmm.
I'm a woman who doesn't tolerate no nonsense. She was the same way. I'm very sweet, but she also means it from a genuine place. She
Hmm.
cares. And that's why she pushes you because she wants you to do better. And
Hmm.
I'm the same way. So you can have similarities to the character as well as that you just don't get it mixed up with you. And make sure you're turning it on. Kiara said it yesterday. You turn it on and then you turn it off. And
Hmm.
that's what you have to do when you are navigating a character as well too. Or else you can be like, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this, Tywin. You know where I'm going. He's
Hmm.
giving me that look. um, Heath Ledger. You
Oh,
become Heath Ledger. When you
yeah.
become so deeply enwrapped into the character,
Hmm.
y'all know he took it all the way. I mean, he's sitting in the mailbox. He really was in this character. If you're gonna play the Joker, you gotta embody the Joker. And he did that.
It's
But
so
it cost him his mental health as well. So
that
yeah, that's why I separate the two.
that's what I'm saying. It's I know Daniel Day Lewis why he doesn't. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
he doesn't he have after he immersed himself in the role he has to go somewhere, and he that's why he doesn't do a lot of films. You know what I mean? It's and when he does them, when he when he does a film, he he puts his all into it. So trying to take all that off is sometimes hard. That's a thing that I find where they say a lot with the technique, with Strasberg technique, where it uses a lot of emotional recall of memories of time in my life when I lost someone, whatever, as opposed to
Mm.
Meissen that says imagine, you use your imagination to something that hasn't happened, but you have to fully invest in that imagination. Then you have the emotional recall, Strasberg saying, listen, use that time your mom's died or your uncle died or you lost something or your kid. And I think each of them has a benefit, but with the emotional recall, it's hard to come back from that if you don't have good mental health. You know what I mean? And know who you are as a person to say, okay, this is what I'm doing, but this doesn't define me, and I don't have to stay in this. Because sometimes sometimes I'll get a role that's ugly or something that's not me, and I feel because it's not me, I feel yucky. But sometimes you can't judge the character, you got to fully invest. But once it's over, you got to just pull that off. Like when I was at BMF, it's so funny, people would be like, they'll be like, man, you look like you was really pissed off. And I'll be like, at that moment I was, when I was talking to
And
Monique,
I
it
see
was
it.
when I was talking to Monique, I was really, we really, what I mean? She was like, get in my face. Like, don't let me off the hook. And and I even did some stuff that I wasn't supposed to do, because I was in it. And, and so it was funny that people, when they met me or people they saw and then they meet me, they'd be like, oh, you don't sound, you're nothing like your character. You know what I mean? So, and then my family was like, please, that's, that's not him. But, you got to go there sometimes, you know what I mean? But that's, if you're serious about your work, you just got to do it. You know what I mean?
And you also, a lot of people, the character, us, the consumers, the viewers, we can either do one or two things. And I said this yesterday. We
Mm-hmm.
can either love your character or we can walk up to you and say, hey, oh, we didn't like your character at all. But if you don't like the character, that means I know I did my job very, very well. And that was
Mm-hmm.
something she stated. Yes, Kiara, she said it yesterday best, so beautifully. Like if you don't like the character, that made that character so believable. Like, ooh, but every villain has a backstory. So when I seen you on BMF, I was like, okay, I was intimidated at first about reaching out to you about coming on my show. But then I seen you in other roles. I seen your commercials. I'm like, okay, this is what it takes right here. You have to have range. And Jennifer Lewis, she even said that. She said you have to bring something different to each character.
Mm-hmm.
And with her, if you've seen her, you've seen her in Meet the Browns. She falls in the grave. She basically begged Tyler Perry to fall in that grave, and Tyler Perry just said, you know what, just let her fall in the grave because she ad libs a lot. You just like with Martin Lawrence, if you're working with the comedian, you don't know what you're going to get with them, so they're
Mm-hmm.
going to make you laugh. And I
Mm-hmm.
give you an example. I wasn't, it wasn't acting. I was doing an interview I interviewed Tommy Davidson,
Uh-huh.
and my mom called me before the interview. And little did I know, because I was trying to be all in my Barbara Walters bag, all serious, all stoic and professional. But he corrupted me in that interview. He broke me, and I just could not stop laughing. My mom predicted when in the phone call with me and her had, she said, what if he breaks out into one of his 11 colored characters? And sure enough, for hell, he
Uh-huh.
did. And
Uh-huh.
I could not stop laughing. Like he broke me. I was trying to be all professional because he wrote a book, and the
Uh-huh.
book is serious. It's talking about his career and stuff. And then close to the end, he breaks out in one of his 11 colored characters. And I was like, damn it, my mom was right.
All right.
She was right. So again, that it's a certain level of professionalism. You got to have it, and in the acting world, it's called the third wall. You're not supposed to look past that third. Was it the third wall?
Uh-huh.
So if you know, you know. But yes, the complete opposite than seeing you on BMF. But again, you have to have that range, like Jennifer Lewis said. And
Mm-hmm.
Taraji C even alluded the same thing as well too. She said, "I won't do it if it doesn't scare me." And this was when she was talking about taking the role as Cook on
Mm-hmm.
Empire, because we've seen her as Vet in Baby Boy. We've seen her in other roles as well too. But Cookie was about her business. She did not play. And then when you see her behind the scenes, because there's still a lot of footage of her out there behind the scenes, she is just a big goofball. She is funny.
Uh,
She loves to make you laugh, and she'll come, she'll be all serious as Cookie, you
mhm.
know. But then when we see her behind the scenes, because I've had some actors that I've interviewed who's done Empire with her, and they said she's the complete opposite. She's not like that.
uh,
But when it's behind the scenes, when the cameras aren't rolling, they just shot the scene or whatever,
uh,
she is so much fun. She'll come in her bedroom shoes. She don't care what we eat and what we doing in here. She does not care. So
uh,
again, that range, that's what it's all about.
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
All right, fashion dolls, it is about that time. We are in the final hour of our conversation with Ty Wayne here. And we're going to get into our two games before we wrap and find out if Ty Wayne has anything coming up so that we can follow and support him. And he's going to give us some gems because you guys know I always do the food for thought at the end of the show. So, all right, the first game is called the Rapid Five. And Ty Wayne has to tell me five things that he can't live without. Now, and then the next one, Tywin is going to get a chance to host my show. It won't be styled by Stevie no more. It will be the Tywin Reach Show. All right, so I'm going to be put in the hot seat. He's going to ask me some questions. I have no clue or idea what he's going to ask me, but I always get so nervous because my guests have asked me some very interesting questions. If you watch some of my past interviews, they one asked about my dating life, one asked about my family, and I don't mind sharing stories about my family. So I don't know what he's going to ask, but we'll get to that after the rapid five. But what are five things you can't live without?
um, my well, of course, my son, uh, my family. Um,
Yeah.
I would say my acting. I know it sounds cliche, my acting, but it's true. If I couldn't do it in some way, you know, I have to do it. Even when we were doing the shutdown or the strike, you know, I went
Yeah,
and
the
did,
SAG. Mhm.
yeah, I went and did theater and auditioned for and got I was an understudy for Fat Ham at the Alliance Theater here. So, and I got still just staying in the art, you know. That, so that, um, what else? I don't know. That's a good question. Five things that I can't live without. Um, I don't know. My Knicks. I love the Knicks. I'm a New York Knicks fan. You know what I mean? Uh, and things I can't live without. Just love. Honestly, it's like the open mindedness of just I love everybody. You know, if you know me, I love. You'll be hard pressed to find somebody, you know, besides an ex girlfriend or something like that. But even then, that's that they don't that I don't give out love. You know what I'm saying? So just hold up, what am I talking about? God, God, that was first in my life. I can't live without God.
All
Lord,
the time.
I'm a Baptist and I didn't say God first. Please forgive me, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord. But yeah, God. But yeah, those are my five things.
All right, there you have it, fashion dolls. Hi, Pure Lux. Shout outs to my girl, Pure Lux. Make sure y'all go and check her out. For my ladies, or even my gentlemen, or my fashion dolls, y'all make sure y'all go and check out Pure Lux Salon. Get the full deluxe treatment and so much more. Y'all go and follow her and check her out. Always showing me mad love and support. Okay, let me stop stalling. It is now time to turn those tables, fashion dolls, and I'm gonna pass it on down to Tywin. I have no clue what he's going to ask me, and my heart is beating very fast because I don't know. So take it away.
Okay, so how many questions am I supposed to
As many as you want.
ask? Okay. Um, if you could do a biopic movie about anybody, who would it be and why?
To star in or producer direct? Which one?
Either or, whatever of your choosing. If you want to star in it, sure.
Oh, I would probably direct. And if I was to do a bio on somebody, oh, and I feel like she's a singer. I'm a big music head, and I feel like her story needs to be told too. And a lot of people have been asking, what is it about her?
Mm.
Phyllis Hyman. It would
Mm.
definitely be. It would
Yeah.
definitely be her.
Mm.
And going through the casting process, finding someone who looks just like her because she had a very distinct style. She was different. She was beautiful.
Mm.
And just her stage presence,
Mm.
just like you were in awestruck of her. So
Mm.
that's who I would do a bio on.
Mm. Okay. Uh, what's your guilty pleasure?
Ooh, my guilty pleasure in my downtime. All right. Um, oh, I'm a big mystery fan.
Mm.
So I either do Alfred Hitchcock or unsolved mystery. Some show where there's a mystery involved. That's one of my guilty pleasures. If not that, then of course old episodes of Atlanta Housewives. I'm a big Housewives junkie, and I love Nene, I love Candy, I love Kenya, I love Cynthia, I love them all. So those are a few of my guilty pleasures. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. If you could be on any reality TV show, what would it be?
Ooh,
And who would be your
any
BFF on that show?
who would be my BFF on the show? Wow.
Yeah.
And if I could be on the show, I'll probably be a friend of the show. I would definitely say Housewives for sure. I would
Uh-huh.
probably say Housewives. And I would be a friend of the show. If she was still on there, I would probably say Candy. I would
Okay.
probably say Candy. It's that Southern thing. She's from Atlanta. I'm from South Carolina. So it's that Southern thing.
Okay.
So for her, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Um, if you could, if you could, if you had if you had, let's just say, $30 million or so, and you
Yeah.
can spend it on anybody but yourself, who would that be?
My mom for sure. My
Okay.
mom, she means the world to me.
Hmm.
And there's nothing I wouldn't do without her.
Hmm.
So definitely her. It would be for her.
Okay. Okay. One more. This is my last one, and it's kind of a gossipy, but whatever. Uh, what was there ever a celebrity that you met that you didn't like, or they weren't, you know how they say don't meet your heroes, you know what I mean, that you didn't like, or you was like, okay, yeah, I don't like that person, or that person's not a good person?
Well, I'm just gonna give. It was one interview that I did, and with one particular actor. And when we chatted, it was one thing, and then when we got to doing the interview, it was just like, okay, you're not really interested like that in the conversation, like how this conversation today just flowed so naturally because of our chemistry and us talking before the
Mm.
interview. We did that, but then when we got on, his energy was just different, and I will just give him a nickname, John Doe. I don't want to put his name out there, but John Doe just didn't give me the energy that was in the conversation that we had. I'm like, I'm bubbly, I'm outgoing, I'm all happy, but then when we're doing the interview, it's something completely opposite. So yeah,
Oh,
it,
so he was
that's
one
one
way.
that I,
So he was one way
yes,
outside of it, and then when you did the interview, he was another way. Oh wow.
yes, and I'm like, give me what you've given me in the conversation. Don't
Uh-huh.
do this to me here because there are people watching. and I
Right.
think something's wrong. And they could tell because my body language says it all
Mm-hmm.
about a person. And
Mm-hmm.
my body language was a dead giveaway. So my brother, shout outs to my brother K2, because he knows who it is.
Uh,
And he was like, sister, I can tell something was off. I could tell you were not happy. But you know, you have to smile and be pretty. And I had to do all of that. And when I got done with that interview, I told my brother K2 about it. I said, he is not coming back on my show ever again. Ever.
okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, that's all the questions I got. And, it wasn't too
All right,
bad.
Fashion Girl. Because I didn't know he was plotting. He was plotting. He was rubbing his hands together like blur, like Birdman. So he was
Nah.
plotting. So I didn't know. I didn't know.
Nah, not
But
bad.
before we wrap, are there any projects you have coming up? Because I know Beyond the Gates, you guys can check it out on CBS. If you have streaming, make sure you guys go and check it out and support. Again, black soaps. We don't see that on television often. I
Mhm,
mean, shout outs to Debbie Morgan. What's her name? Debbie Morgan? Or
mhm,
yeah, Debbie Morgan. We
mhm,
we saw some black characters. Victoria Rowell is another one.
mhm,
Uh, make sure that you're going and supporting Beyond the Gates as well too.
mhm. I forgot Debbie Morgan's. What's her name? It was Jesse and what was their names? What's her name? It was on. I think it was on All My Children. She was on there.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I used to watch that. But but yeah. But oh, you were saying. What were you saying? I'm
Any
sorry.
upcoming projects that you're working on that you want to plug?
Um. Well, I just did. I did a movie. On in Alabama called How Hard Can It Be? And I got to do a scene uh, with I can't really name the person, but it's a person from The Office. But yeah, it's a character from The Office. I got to do a scene with, and not I don't know when exactly. It's probably going to be sometime next year, but it might be on Lifetime or something like that. But it's a kind of a not an independent movie, but but it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's kind of feel good movie, kind of like Sweet Home Alabama a bit. Also, like I said, I filmed. I had a scene in the Outer Banks, the final. I think it's the final season of the Outer Banks that's coming out. Um, and I just did literally 2 days ago. I did a movie, a Netflix movie. Um, Called Just Picture It. I can name it. I'm not on an NDA, but it's because we want people to watch it. So it's Just Picture It with Gabriel LaBelle, who played he was in the Fablemans, Steven Spielberg's
Yes.
The Fablemans, and Millie Bobby Brown that plays Eleven on Stranger Things. She's in it. So uh, yeah, and also guy guy that's probably going to be in P Valley. Guy Sam Malone. I'm just shouting out the people that's in it, and Bassinger, who was Stargirl. I did a scene with her in Stargirl. She's also in the movie. But it's it's a pretty uh, good. It's a great movie. It's a romantic comedy. The same guy who directed You, the TV series on Netflix. You. So that's what I have coming out, and more to come. Still auditioning. The grind never stops. You know what I mean?
And it is, and it will be more to come in the future. And I would love to have you back on for my 20th season, which will be in 2026. And we
Nice.
are well off, gonna continue on. This was such a great conversation.
Mm,
And before we let you go, any gems that you would like to leave to anybody aspiring to follow their dreams or go after it? Because we touched on a number of things about going and just leaping and being bold and bringing originality, especially for actors. Any
mhm.
gems that you would give them or words of encouragement?
Um, I would say if you want to do this, find out what you want to do and go 100% in that direction. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be stalls. Don't let your excuses be your final destination. You know what I'm saying? Find a way. Somebody told me it's no plan. Everybody has problems. Everybody has different things that I'm going to do this, but if you want to do it, just do it. You don't have to be supposedly in a big Hollywood movie to do your acting. An actor acts no matter what. You can create your own stuff. You know your own content. You can go to a theater. You can audition for different things. Um, Go to improv. Go to classes. I always say go to classes if you really want to really do it and learn the technique. Because one thing I found out that every celebrity or actor that I've been, if they were that I've been in a project with, any of them, they take their craft seriously. Terry J. Vaughn takes her craft seriously. She's a like master at her stuff. Like I said, the late Tommy Ford. He was Martin, Tommy, but he takes his craft seriously. Actors and the people that I rock with, that I've studied with, they take their craft seriously. So take it seriously and honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you let your light shine. So that's what I'm saying. Don't dim your light just because it may illuminate somebody else's darkness. Don't dim it. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to add on to what Ty Wayne just said, today's final thought is every week is a new beginning. Take a deep breath and start again. Forget what might have been and look at what can be. It is a new week of endless opportunities and possibilities for each and every one of us. So, as Ty Wayne just said so beautifully, never let anybody dim your light. Again, you are the light and you shine bright. When we look at, because I love home decor, we look at candelabras, right? And we look at the candle holders, and you can decorate them. You can put your little candle in them as well too. They have the cover and everything. We are that candle. We are that light. And I want you guys to continue to keep being the light to each and every one of each other and inspire. And if you're not sure, ask questions. There's tons of research out here for you, tons of classes and people that can help you. Ty Wayne, my girl, Ro Underwood, and so many others that can help coach you and teach you and point you in the direction of people as well too. So network and use that power, use that gift and that ability. And that's what I would close the show off with today, Fashion Dolls. So
Thank you for having me.
without further ado, let everyone know where they can follow you, Ty Wayne. I had such a great time.
Oh, I think it's Ty the Creator on on Instagram. I'm so old school. I was like, I gotta look and see what. No, Ty Wheat on Instagram, but it's just you can Google my name and everything will come up. But uh, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, Fashion Dolls, there you have it. And I will see y'all tomorrow with de-datification. 7 more days left until my 32nd birthday next week, Halloween, my very special birthday celebration with a very special guest. He will be joining me. So make sure y'all tune in. And I love you. And head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube if you have not, and check out some of the past episodes. Catch up, hit the community tab, subscribe, and you can hype up the videos as many as you want. It's so many. I love you all, and a very special thank you to Pure Luck Salon. A very special thank you to everyone for tuning in. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Also, the panel is tomorrow on my colleagues' panel. Make sure you guys tune in. Tit for tat, this and that tomorrow at 8 p.m. I will be there. And everything that's been going on, you can find it out there. I love y'all and talk to you later.
All right. Peace. Thanks.
You too.